Hey, fans, welcome to the Candy Shop Show. This is July 20th, 2015. We've got a fantastic show for you. Our featured speaker is Chris Jacobs, and I know you'll enjoy sitting in, eavesdropping on our conversation with Chris. We've just want to invoke and call in any guides that would like to help facilitate this and just feel good about the positive energies that are manifesting in our world this July, between the new moon on the 15th and the full moon on the 31st. Okay. Chris, we're taping this early on Monday. Will you be on Elizabeth's Diamond show tonight?
Yes. Oh, yes. About 7:30. My time slots can vary depending who's on there, but I'm usually on there until about between 9 and 10.
And you're going to be there pretty regularly on Monday nights?
Yes.
Great. Well, it was wonderful. On our last call, you talked about Happy and the supercomputers and clearing the energies and things. And Elizabeth invited me to start a series of shows with her on Thursdays. And that's going to start. My show with Elizabeth will be August 6th. We are putting up these shows on YouTube, and I'll be getting the word out, and I hope everybody listening here will get the word out that these shows are going to be on YouTube, and that we have a show every single Wednesday. So this is show number 211. So, Chris, the series with Elizabeth is going to, my part is going to be about Anastasia and the 10 books that were channeled by Vladimir Magritte. She got old enough to start helping the world in 1992. It's very impressive what she did in for the Russians and for people around the world there. She's been developing her energies, and her books appeared in 2003. She had a little problem with her channel as not getting him to understand and blocking some of the material that she got from communicating with the star people, from some of her trips to some of the other planets, and some of her energy work. She has a morning ritual that she does, and she encourages all of her fans to copy and develop their own morning ritual, and she would like to see us drinking a little bit of dew as part of that. And I started that last summer, and it's been fabulous for me, and I encourage everybody to do some earthing and some drinking of morning dew, and loving the flowers and the plants and the trees around us. She asked people to get physical books and to sit near a window or outside and to read them and kind of make it a meditative experience. And she often goes to the readers as they are reading her energy. Her father and grandfather were extremely, her grandfather was extremely important in the world of the universe, in not necessarily a positive way, and she wanted to balance the negativity that he did with her positive energies and activities. Is there any way that you could bring Anastasia into this call today?
Let me see. As you were describing the window, being next to a window or outside, I just keep seeing an old style, house out in the country, with a garden and all that other outside garden and porch and kind of not necessarily a wooded area, but close, where the property had a lot of trees on it, had some animals on it, and that's what I'm seeing now. I don't know if that's what her property looked like, but that's what I am seeing. And I keep seeing a person looking out a window and turning to me just briefly and kind of whispering something, and then there's another entity that's around her that is whispering in her ear. This looks like a guide. And this guide is not really, is very defensive, but still sees me as non-threatening. So, I'm trying to stay in the room with her, but this guide is just keeping me at a distance. And not too sure. This guide doesn't really have much of a form, but looks like it's speaking from a distance away from another dimension. But it is actually this person. She's let me see if she's trying to say anything. But this guide is trying to speak for her. It's not letting me directly communicate with her, but keeps telling me that her energy field is very sensitive and very it can be impacted easily, so that's why I'm being kept at a distance. But if I could describe the guide, I would say it's more of a trans-dimensional type being, speaking from a high dimension. But she's continuing to sit in this chair and look out this window. But I can see her in this small room. I can see a bed. I can see a desk. I can see like an old dresser. This looks like an old house from, oh God, it looks like the 1800s. And 1800s, early 1900s, maybe even before. And I can see a hallway that I'm being made to stand out in. I can't enter that room, but I can see into it. And I'm being told to walk outside. And this guide and her are now outside, and I'm able to communicate with them more, because this outside area is more neutral ground. This isn't like private space like that room was. And this guide, and there's also several others like it. Looks like a whole grouping of them guide her in her channelings. And they look different than anybody I've spoken with before. They have like this almost like a pudgy looking face, and but they have like an energy trail behind this face, and that's all I'm seeing. And it looks like there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them behind her or more. And they are telling me that I cannot enter her energy field. I can't say or anything she's saying, but they're communicating something to me. They said they're from a realm of oh God, how can it be transit? It looks like they're a high density. This looks like 7th or 8th density, or even higher. And they're telling me they're forming like a circle, and they're like aiming like an energy beam at her. And they said they're telling me to join in on that. And they're giving me a book. I can see a cover with a picture of has a picture of one of them on the cover. And I'm trying to see what the words say. It's hard to see what these beings are called. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing, no, the image has changed. I can see they're showing me this book, but they're showing her in like a vehicle going along a long road. But I'm still being made to be kept at a distance. But this book is hard to see. It looks like their group name starts with the letter T, but it's in that old English script writing, like you'd see like a large letter and small letters afterwards. And see if I can spell this out. Okay, this is an odd name, but it's spelled Tcnars. Technar. I can't pronounce that, but
spell that again.
Okay, it's Tcnars. I mean, it's Tcnars. And they're showing me a book with a picture of them in an open window in that house, but they're showing me the book cover. And they're showing her writing a series of books with their knowledge. And she speaks strictly to these beings only. And let me see what else is going on here. Yeah, they're showing me in there. They're asking me if I want to see the book. I said, sure. And they're showing me this book, but there's strange writings in it with like little notes inside of it. Looks like where somebody has bookmarked like specific knowledge. And let me see. Yeah. They're showing where there's highlighted and important things. And let's see what they want to say here. Okay. They're showing me just images. There's images within the book that they're pointing out. Like they're just showing images of their people and images of their circle. They all form a circle when they're in this dimension, and they just kind of shoot the knowledge at anybody who wants it. But also, not necessarily just anybody who wants it. That's incorrect. They said it's specific people who need it, and trying to see what's in this book, but the everything in the book is in a strange language. It's not in my language. It's all in either phonetic type script or it's in symbols. And or
Russian.
Yes. Okay, that does look more like Cyrillic. Yes. Okay. Yeah, because it looked like it was almost phonetic-like, and that makes sense, Russian. But I'm asking him to put it in English so I could see what it says. And they said, not at this time. But, let me see. Yeah, they're saying not at this time, but since I have accepted wanting to see it, they will come through at a later time with the bulk of it. But they're just acknowledging right now they do help people write books. Now, they've gone to more than just her. They've gone to many throughout history, it looks like, and they help them write books and get their own, not only their own knowledge out there, but to get the people, the person's knowledge out there too. And I'm asking them if they could give just a little bit for the call here. And they're saying, okay, they're giving me just a brief rundown. They're just showing me a brief history of where they are from They're showing me like a distant planet. They're not letting me approach it. They're just showing me a planet out in the middle of blackened space, and they're telling me the reason it's like in a blackened space is because I'm looking at it from a lower density. That's normal, and they're not giving me the name of the world, but they're telling me that they gravitate between 7th and 10th density. They go back and forth so they can communicate. And let me see, the way they showed me their name, the TCNARS, you were correct in saying Russian. It was more or less in Cyrillic that they were showing it to me because they're used to doing that for her. Seeing if they can translate that so it's more pronounceable. Yes, let's see if I can get the name. It's more of a sound. I guess the sound is close to the spelling I gave. But they're not used to. They're used to dealing with other people, but they are. They get locked into certain people, and so switching over to somebody that does things a little differently, it takes time. But they are definitely willing to continually give knowledge. Let's see. It looks like it looks like they're aiming this beam at her now, and it looks like they're handing me something. They're just handing me a book, and they're backing off. I'm seeing what this book is, the one I described before with a picture of them on it. And,
some people say Anastasia is not alive. But do you confirm she is a human being on this planet?
I'm being shown that it seems like she's more of one of their people than she is human. Or at least was an incarnated one of them. Let's see. It does not look like she is. It looks like more or less she's like a spirit. But she was an incarnated one of these particular people.
But I have not heard of anything from her in the last 5 years. Could she have died in the last 5 years?
That's what this is almost appearing like the symbolism I'm seeing with the road she's driving down and everything. This is what it looks like to me. I could be wrong, but this is what this looks like to where she's driving down a road, and it looks like she's approaching like mountain passes and things like that. And the reason they're making me back off, and it looks like they're helping her cross over. So I would assume that she has passed. This might mean like a certain aspect of her is tapping into another realm, or this could mean that she's passed on. It could be either one. But yeah, this book they handed me, they're insistent they want me to take it on. And other guides are saying it's fine. So, and I added it to my already existing library of knowledge, and that may translate outward in the weeks and months to come. But they said that'll come out when it's supposed to. They usually have people just keep it, and then it comes out in other ways. It can differ from person to person.
Her books can be ordered through ringingcedars.com in English, and they in the later advanced copies of the books she shared. Of course, in the very first pages, it mentioned that her grandfather was 100. Her great grandfather was 120 years old, and in 1996, and that he died about 20 years later, sort of. But that she talked about these entities that took on the persona of Egyptian priests and how they started the system of money like 4,000 years ago, and how evil they were, and how they would take the energies of younger people and continue on and not cross over naturally, and that these 6 Egyptian priests did a great deal to put negativity in the world, and they lived for hundreds, thousands of years, and that her grandfather, the head priest, was still in Egypt 25 years ago, but her grandfather was one of the 6, and that she was able to open her grandfather's eyes to a greater truth, and she approached the head priest, and the head priest opened up his heart to realize the horrors that he had done to mankind. And and I don't know if he's like the head of the Sanhedrin or the group that because I know the Sanhedrin still meets in Egypt, but maybe he controls these 6 priests controlled the Zionists and all these different, the Illuminati and the Cabal and all this crap, and so they wanted to about 10 years ago they wanted to stop all this evil stuff that they had been doing, because Anastasia reached their heart, and they no longer was ordering the Sanhedrin, the Zionists, the puppet masters, these people to do horrible things, but they were telling them to back off and not do such horrible stuff anymore. But they had set this in motion so many centuries ago that they couldn't get their underlings to understand and to change and to start helping the world. And so I wondered if these guys, if you wanted to speak to that.
Yeah, while you were talking, there was this guy that, this man that approached me and got really angry that I had spoken to these other beings, these good ones. And let's see, let's see what he wanted. He was very pissed that I had this book, and keeps insisting it wasn't for me. So I automatically, flashed the Law of One symbol at him just so he would back off. And he's keeping his distance now. And let me see. There's another little being that's with him, almost like a servant. And this being looks very strange. It's almost like an energy form, but it's almost not solid. But seeing this person, he looks human, but I don't think he's human. And let's see. Yeah, this looks like you were talking about the Egyptian references, but I'm only seeing this one individual. I think the other ones were good, but this particular person is not. And I'm asking other guides to get rid of him. But let me see. Let's see. I'm going to have other guides come in and see what if that person did any damage in this interim to anybody. And they said, yes, he did. He had he was surrounded in negative entities. He was originally good, but it looked like he was surrounded in negativity. So hitting him with the law of one was the best thing I could have done.
Thank you. Wonderful. Praise God. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not sure who this was. He wouldn't identify himself. He was just angry that I'd spoken to those other beings. But it looks like they're bringing him back across the threshold. And let's see where this goes from here. It looks like that. It looks like they're taking him away, and I can see that. I can see flashes of images from ancient Egypt, and I'm seeing this other entity in my face now. I can see this one-eyed person in my face. He looks to be a different vibration because I can't see him completely, but let's see. Okay, yeah, it looks like this person had a guardian that was around him, was making sure that I didn't do anything to him, and wasn't too happy that I did what I did. But so I just hit him with the law of one too, and just said basically, don't bother me if you're going to be negative. And it looks like they're moving. It looks like they're moving off. I'll see where the images go from here, but it looks like that part of it's fading now. Okay,
wow.
Yeah, it looks like it's fading now.
Wow. So it sounds like that I read between the lines appropriately in Anastasia's book, and so she was fighting these Egyptian priests who had done so much harm to our planet, but who would like to get on the good side and who would like to I think they're afraid of dying, afraid of their judgment. Is there and I don't know I don't know if they're still, all six of them are still on the surface of Earth in some form or not, or if some or all of them have passed over in the past 10 years.
I think that particular individual that I think that seemed to be the only one left that was negative. It seemed the other ones were positive to me, but it did seem like at one time they were negative. It didn't look like it anymore though. And that one man looked like he was the last one that was negative. And when the others came for him, it looks like he's okay now. But they were good at one time. Yeah.
So was that one in the third dimension or not?
Oh yeah, they were in human form at one time. It looks like, but it looks like the one that approached me that was angry looked like he was kind of like in Egyptian clothing, like he had like a robe and everything on. But then when they took him away, it's like he retook the original form. I've seen this before with some beings, like if they've incarnated as a human, they take on a lot of the human junk, and then they'll end up, after they pass on, they end up keeping that form like a ghost would, and it takes a little bit to get them to become what they were again. And I call them bound beings, where they are in a different form than what they are. And it looks like once he was helped with the law of one, he retook that original form. It looked like he was the seventh in this circle. Before, there was only like 5 or 6 of them, and now it looks like he was the last one. So they're okay now.
Oh, good. Well, I just wish that their underlings could get the message that the times are changed, and with the law of one, everyone needs to press forward on the positive side and start serving others instead of serving self.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. You know, when like you said, the other ones were negative at one point, and that's what it looked like to me. Like they were trying to redeem themselves for what had been done in the past. And now that they're unified again, now that the last one is there, they can do that. They can go back to their original core mission of what they originally had intended. They can actually go back to that now. Let me see. They're not communicating with me anymore, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from them. Is that's the goal they wanted to accomplish. They wanted that last person put back in their circle, and everything's good now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, wow. You know, her channeler, Vladimir McGree, cannot speak English, and so his books have been translated into 20 languages. But it's by his fans. They are so impressive. Well, I'm so excited that you were able to channel here a little bit, and that Elizabeth is opening up a chance for me to elaborate on the Anastasia material starting August 6th at 7:30 on Elizabeth's phone line. So that's going to be great. Anybody that wants follow-up information or talk to me directly should email me if you need Elizabeth's phone line or you want to participate in these shows live with me. Just email me at owaspie2002@yahoo.com. That's spelled OAHSPE 2002.com. Well, Chris, do you have anything more to say about Anastasia or anything that we just did and about the book? It sounds like we're going to come back to that again in the future from those positive sides.
No, it looks like that's closed off now. It looks like they were only willing to communicate for a brief period.
Okay. Are we talking? Okay. Well, great. Well, do you what are some of the titles? How do you describe yourself to people when you introduce yourself? And do you ever use the title empath?
I never really. I did in the past, but the further I go into this, I sometimes will say psychic medium, or I've even said remote viewer, because that's essentially what I'm doing when I look at, say, the moon base or Mars or any of the dimensions. That's essentially what it is remote viewing. So I would say I'm both psychic medium and remote viewer.
Absolutely. Well, here in Southwest Missouri, there is a group of people forming, and they are using the general term at this point of empaths. Mm-hmm. And they've got 98 that have come together loosely, just starting, and to support each other and help each other in this role that they find themselves. You spoke about us having entered the fourth dimension in December of 2014. Mm-hmm. Do you think that one outcome of this is that there'll be lots more psychic mediums and empaths, and that their ability will be stronger in the fourth dimension?
Oh, yes, definitely. You see this happen all the time. Either somebody was already that when we crossed into the different density, or you'll get more people that are born that way. You're going to see that. You're going to see that more and more. Some people won't know how to react to it. I've noticed people that weren't awake before that time are now, and they don't know how to completely handle it, and they try to seek out like-minded, like-interest people to find out how to control certain abilities, or they'll have guides that come to them in dreams, etc. And yeah, you are definitely going to see more and more of these type of people in this new energy.
Wow. Well, it is certainly exciting times, and I appreciate what Elizabeth and Cynthia's group is doing, and how you are utilizing the law of one that Cynthia reminded us about. To and she said that every day each of us could come to a deeper and deeper understanding of what this means, that we are all one, and that when one is harmed, all are harmed, and when one is helped, all are helped. Like just now, you've helped this ancient Egyptian priest, but you've really helped the whole universe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
That's fabulous. That's wonderful. Now, I came to understand this concept in the 70s, and it's my understanding has been growing over the years, but actually even getting deeper in this year as I listen to Cynthia and you speak about the power and the magnificence that indeed we are all one. Do you have? Yes.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, do you have a comment or something else? I don't want to wear you out before you speak with Elizabeth this evening.
Let me see. I don't. No, nobody else is ready to come through at the moment. I think those are the only beings that wanted to have their voice heard right now. And that looks like they're done for the moment.
I see. Well, if you, Chris, were to talk to this group of 98 empaths who are, what would you say to help them get on a good foundation and because society sometimes thinks empaths are sick and need medications and sometimes need to be institutionalized if they're hearing voices and things. Is there anything you'd like that you would say to this group?
Well, I would say, whatever society is telling them, they aren't nuts. They don't belong in institutions. The only reason you have people that are afraid are because of these darker entities that want to make people that way. They don't want people to grow in that respect, so that these darker entities are stopped. So they will always put people in that fear mode. So I would say to these people, do what you're doing. Continue to grow spiritually, empathically, mentally, all of the above. Physically, all of it. Continue to evolve. In spite of what the naysayers are saying, you don't need the medication to evolve. The doctors, I know they're only going by their training, but you're not sick. People like us are not sick. We are the ones that are awakening, and we just have to look on those other people that are not at that point yet. Just send them light energy and move forward.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to let this drag on, and I just been so excited about what we've accomplished here today with the law of one and healing, and so I thank you, Chris, so very, very much for sharing in this fashion with the Candy Shop show today.
Yeah, you're welcome, Candy. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here and on the air in general.
Absolutely. Great. Well, we'll be looking forward to hearing you on the Candy Shop show for July 29th. And we've got another interesting show coming on July 22nd, but I know you're busy that evening. So I hope my fans will stay tuned and tell their friends about the new Yahoo channel. And, Chris, just have a blessed afternoon.
You too. Thank you very much, Candy.
Okay. It's a wrap. Peace to all. Good night.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at christopherstephenjacobs@gmail.com.